He broke a deaf girl's hearing aid for laughs, so I broke his world's volume down to 0. Some people hurt others for power, others for sport. But Brandon hurt people because he thought the world owed him entertainment. He was the kind of guy who laughed a little too hard when someone tripped in public, the kind who once stole a blind guy's cane as a prank and posted the video with crying emojis. He lived off daddy's hedge fund, drove a custom-wrapped BMW, and probably believed poor people were fictional. Me, I was a broke grad student tutoring to pay rent and not go insane. And that's how I met Izzy. Izzy was 14, bright, sweet, and sharper than most adults I knew. She also happened to be deaf in one ear, partially in the other. She wore a bright purple hearing aid and never apologized for it. And why should she? She was proud of who she was. She called her hearing aid Thor's hammer and told people it helped her hear the thunder. But then came Brandon. One afternoon we were studying outside a cafe. Izzy liked the background noise, said it helped her focus. I went inside for coffee. When I came back out, Izzy was crying. Not just tears, she was shaking. Palms pressed to her ears like she was trying to plug them without knowing why. Her hearing aid was missing. Brandon was across the patio, holding it, dangling it like a toy between his fingers. This thing, he grinned. I thought it was a weird AirPod, then he dropped it, stepped on it. Crack. He laughed. His girlfriend giggled. People stared. No one said a thing. Izzy didn't cry out. She just stared at the ground, like silence had swallowed her whole. Brandon walked away like he'd won a prize. That was the last day I tutored Izzy, but it was the first day I started planning. If Brandon thought silence was funny, I'd show him what silence really felt like, and I wouldn't do it with fists. That would be too quick. This needed to echo. Step 1, I got close. I faked an identity online. Logan, audio engineer for a luxury headphone company, messaged Brandon offering him a free prototype for his podcast. He didn't have one, but I knew his ego wouldn't let that stop him. He bit faster than I expected. Met him in person. I wore a suit, clean shave, fake ID badge, handed him what looked like a premium, ultra-modern headset, custom molded. Inside, a firmware override I built myself. It could silence everything with a single tap from my phone, but that was just the beginning. Phase 2, I infiltrated his world. His apartment complex. I rented the unit across the hall. I waited until I learned his schedule, knew when he came home, when he showered, when he cranked music like he was trying to summon demons through bass. Then I soundproofed my wall, then his. With legal loopholes and a few anonymous complaints to the landlord, I got noise violations filed against him. Suddenly, Brandon wasn't allowed to play music past 8 p.m. or host parties, or even watch TV loud. He started texting people about weird audio issues. His Bluetooth speakers stopped working. I jammed them. His car stereo glitched out. I swapped the fuse with a dummy. One time he was mid-call with his dad, and the line just died again and again. I could see it in his eyes the next time we crossed paths. The uncertainty, the quiet paranoia. Then I gave him a taste of true silence. I waited for him to be alone, in his room. Then I activated the headset override. Complete blackout. He ripped them off, smacked them on the desk. No sound. He turned on his laptop. No audio. He ran the faucet. No splash. Opened his phone. No clicks. Yelled. No feedback. Banged a pot. Nothing. Panic is a funny thing. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. And Brandon heard none of it. But I wasn't done. That would have been merciful. Final phase. I made sure he knew what it meant. I waited until he showed up at a public tech expo. I knew he would. He was desperate for answers. Claimed his world was glitching. I showed up too, but not as Logan, as me. He didn't recognize me. Why would he? I introduced myself as a sound engineer again. Told him we had a sensory test booth. He walked in, headphones on, room sealed. What followed was operatic. 5 minutes of sheer claustrophobic silence. Then a sudden burst of screeching feedback. Just 3 seconds long. Loud enough to make him throw up. Then silence again. He screamed, but the room swallowed it. When he burst out sweating, shaking, yelling at the staff, and no one helped, that night I delivered one last message. A package. No return address. Inside was a crushed purple hearing aid. The exact model he'd broken. Alongside it, a note. Silence isn't always golden. Sometimes it's a coffin. Brandon doesn't leave his apartment anymore. He covers his ears in public. Doesn't trust sound. Flinches at whispers. Wears noise-canceling headphones all day. But not because he wants to. Because he's afraid not to. And Izzy? She got a new aid. Custom designed. Waterproof. Unbreakable. Last I heard, she wants to be a lawyer. As for Brandon, let's just say I broke his world's volume down to 0. And now the only thing louder than his silence is mine.